At Stanford Neural Network Symposium, Dr. Kozlov was told, "Conferences of this level aren't suitable for you." So he called his lawyer. "James, withdraw the sponsorship." Yes, the $15 million sponsorship. There are academic integrity issues. Stanford University's Neural Networks and Machine Learning Symposium, held at the Artificial Intelligence Laboratory, was one of Silicon Valley's most prestigious academic events. 800 researchers from 47 countries, the biggest names in tech industry, venture capitalists, and academic luminaries came together. Total conference budget, $23 million, main sponsor, anonymous tech billionaire. Dr. Dimitri Kozlov, 43 years old, Ukrainian veteran and AI researcher, had hearing damage and PTSD from the war in Donetsk, but his intellectual capabilities were completely intact. 12 years since coming to America, now CEO of Kozlov AI Systems, the world's leading artificial intelligence research company, partnerships with Google, Microsoft, Apple, $890 million valuation. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, 52 years old, Stanford AI Lab Director and Conference Organizing Committee Chair, Harvard PhD. 23-year academic career, but limited awareness of unconscious bias. Accustomed to elite academic circles, subtle prejudice against foreign accents and non-traditional backgrounds. This morning, Dimitri just wanted to attend the conference. "Good morning. Welcome to Stanford Neural Network Symposium," Dr. Mitchell greeted at the registration desk, her professional smile slightly hesitating when she heard Dimitri's Ukrainian accent. "Thank you. I'm here to register for the conference," Dimitri replied, his accent noticeable but his English perfectly fluent. Dr. Mitchell scanned the attendee list. "Name, please?" "Dr. Dimitri Kozlov." Sarah's fingers paused over the keyboard. The name wasn't immediately familiar, and the accent suggested Eastern European background, not typical for their elite attendee profile. "Are you here as part of an academic delegation or corporate group?" Sarah probed. "Individual registration," Dimitri answered. Sarah frowned slightly. Individual registrations for their $2,800 conference fees usually came from senior researchers or industry leaders. This man's modest appearance and accent didn't fit that profile. "What's your institutional affiliation?" Sarah asked. "Kozlov AI Systems," Dimitri replied. Sarah didn't recognize the company name, probably a small startup or research lab trying to network with the big players. "And your academic credentials?" PhD in computer science, specialized in neural network architecture and machine learning algorithms. Sarah remained skeptical. "From which university?" "Carnegie Mellon, with postdoctoral work at MIT. This gave Sarah pause. Carnegie Mellon and MIT were top-tier institutions, but foreign students sometimes inflated their credentials or had questionable degree validations. "We need to analyze our audience. If you could tell us where you watched our video in the comments section and also hit the like button, that would make us very happy." "Dr. Kozlov," Sarah said carefully, "this symposium focuses on cutting-edge research at the highest academic levels. The technical presentations assume deep familiarity with advanced neural network theory." "I understand," Dimitri replied patiently. "Given your background, you might find the content challenging to follow. Perhaps the General AI conference next month would be more appropriate." This was politely worded discrimination. Sarah was suggesting Dimitri wasn't qualified for elite academic content based on his accent and unfamiliarity. "I've been working in neural networks for 15 years, Dimitri explained calmly. "That's impressive," Sarah said with a patronizing tone, "but academic standards in America are quite rigorous. Publishing in peer-reviewed journals, presenting at recognized conferences, these credentials are essential." "I have 47 peer-reviewed publications," Dimitri said. Sarah's eyebrows raised. 47 publications was substantial for most academics, but she remained suspicious about the quality and legitimacy of foreign research. "In which journals?" Sarah asked. "Nature, Science, IEEE Transactions, Neural Computation, Machine Learning Journal," Dimitri listed prominent publications. Sarah was running out of academic objections. These were the most prestigious journals in the field, but her bias remained focused on Dimitri's accent and appearance. "Dr. Kozlov," Sarah decided to test his technical knowledge, "could you explain your current research focus?" I'm working on adaptive neural architectures with dynamic topology optimization, specifically for real-time learning and autonomous systems, Dimitri answered fluently. Sarah blinked. This was highly advanced, cutting-edge research. Most academics couldn't articulate such complex topics so clearly. And your methodology? Evolutionary algorithms combined with gradient-based optimization using custom tensor processing units I developed for parallel computation. Sarah's skepticism deepened despite the impressive technical knowledge. Custom TPUs required massive resources and expertise typically available only to major tech companies or elite research institutions. You developed custom processing units? Sarah questioned. Yes, optimized for specific neural network topologies. They're about 340% more efficient than standard GPUs for our applications. That sounds unusually advanced for a small research company, Sarah said diplomatically. The hardware development was necessary for our commercial applications, Dimitri explained. Commercial applications? We license AI systems to various tech companies for their machine learning infrastructure. Sarah remained doubtful. Major tech companies had their own massive AI research teams. Why would they license technology from an unknown foreign company? Dr. Kozlov, Sarah said, I notice you submitted a speaker application for our conference. Unfortunately, we had to decline it. May I ask why? Dimitri inquired politely. Our speaking slots are reserved for established researchers from recognized institutions. We need speakers who can represent the highest standards of academic excellence. This was discriminatory gatekeeping disguised as quality control. What constitutes established researchers? Dimitri asked. Typically tenured professors from top-tier universities, senior researchers from major tech companies, or recognized thought leaders in the field. I see. Your profile, while interesting, doesn't quite meet those criteria. The committee felt your presentation topic was too specialized for our general audience. Dimitri's presentation topic was ethical AI development in autonomous weapon systems, directly relevant to both academic research and real-world applications. The topic seems highly relevant to current AI ethics discussions, Dimitri observed. Yes, but our audience expects presentations from speakers with proven track records in major academic or industry institutions. Sarah was implying that Dimitri's foreign background and unknown company disqualified him from elite academic discourse. During the conversation, Dimitri's phone rang. Caller ID, Stanford Development Office. Excuse me, Dimitri said, answering. Hello, Jennifer. Dr. Kozlov, this is Jennifer Park from Stanford Development. We need to finalize the details for your symposium sponsorship. The $15 million commitment requires some additional paperwork. Sarah's conversation with Dimitri stopped abruptly. $15 million sponsorship for this conference? Of course, Dimitri replied calmly. I can sign the documents this afternoon. Wonderful. The neural network's lab renovation will be transformational with your support. Dean Morrison wanted to personally thank you for this unprecedented gift. Sarah stared at Dimitri with growing confusion. This man wasn't just a conference attendee. He was apparently their major sponsor. Jennifer, Dimitri continued, there's been a small issue with the conference organization. Could I speak with Dean Morrison about academic inclusion policies? Certainly. Is there a problem with the symposium arrangements? Nothing that can't be resolved, Dimitri said diplomatically. After hanging up, Sarah looked at Dimitri with new uncertainty. Dr. Kozlov, was that about conference sponsorship? Yes, my company is supporting Stanford's AI research initiatives, Dimitri replied modestly. Within 10 minutes, Dean Robert Morrison appeared at the registration area, having been alerted by the development office about a potential issue with their largest donor. Dr. Kozlov, Dean Morrison approached with obvious respect. I'm so pleased you're here for the symposium. I hope everything is proceeding smoothly. Sarah watched this interaction with growing alarm. The dean's deferential tone suggested Dimitri was far more important than she had realized. Hello, Dean Morrison. I was just discussing the conference program with Dr. Mitchell, Dimitri replied. Excellent. Sarah, I trust Dr. Kozlov is receiving our highest level of service? Sarah's mouth went dry. Of course, Dean Morrison. We were just reviewing his registration. Dr. Kozlov is our symposium's primary benefactor, Dean Morrison explained to Sarah. His $15 million gift is funding the Neural Networks Lab expansion and this entire conference. Sarah felt the ground shifting beneath her feet. The man she had been discriminating against was funding the event she was organizing. Furthermore, Dean Morrison continued, Dr. Kozlov's research company has pioneered some of the most advanced AI systems currently in use. Google, Microsoft, and Apple all license his neural network technologies. Sarah's face went white. This wasn't some unknown foreign researcher. This was a major industry leader. Dr. Kozlov, Dean Morrison said, would you be interested in giving a keynote presentation? Your work on ethical AI and autonomous systems would be perfect for our opening session. Sarah realized that the presentation topic she had dismissed as too specialized was exactly the kind of cutting-edge research their audience wanted to hear. I appreciate the offer, Dimitri replied, but Dr. Mitchell explained that the speaking slots are reserved for established researchers from recognized institutions. Dean Morrison looked confused. Dr. Kozlov, you're one of the most established AI researchers in the world. Your company's neural network patents are fundamental to modern machine learning. Sarah wanted to disappear. She had rejected a keynote-worthy speaker based on assumptions about his accent and company. How many patents does your company hold? Dean Morrison asked conversationally. Currently 247 active patents in neural network architectures, machine learning algorithms, and AI hardware optimization, Dimitri answered. Sarah's knees nearly buckled. 247 patents represented one of the largest AI intellectual property portfolios in existence. And your employee count? About 340 researchers and engineers across our 3 research facilities. 340 employees meant Kozlov AI Systems was a major company, not the small startup Sarah had assumed. Dimitri's phone rang again. This time the caller ID showed Google AI Director. He answered on speaker at Dean Morrison's suggestion. Hello, Dr. Chen. Dimitri, we need to discuss the neural network upgrade timeline. When can your team implement the new architecture across our data centers? Dean Morrison and Sarah listened as Google's AI director discussed technical implementation details with Dimitri as if he were a crucial business partner. The rollout can begin next month, Dimitri replied. We'll start with the East Coast servers and move west. Excellent. The performance improvements from your latest algorithms have been remarkable. Management is very pleased. After the call ended, Dean Morrison shook his head in amazement. Dr. Kozlov, I had no idea your company was working so closely with Google's core AI infrastructure. We also have significant partnerships with Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, and Apple's machine learning systems, Dimitri added modestly. Sarah realized she had dismissed someone whose technology literally powered the AI systems used by millions of people daily. Dr. Mitchell, Dean Morrison turned to Sarah with sharp concern. Why was Dr. Kozlov's speaker application declined? Sarah could barely form words. I felt his research profile wasn't sufficiently established for our academic standards. Not established. Dean Morrison's voice rose. Dr. Kozlov's research is cited more frequently than most of our faculty. His neural network innovations are industry standard. Dr. Kozlov, Dean Morrison said formally, on behalf of Stanford University, I apologize for any misunderstanding about your qualifications. Would you honor us by delivering tomorrow's opening keynote? Thank you for the offer, Dimitri replied graciously, but I'm concerned about the selection criteria that led to my initial rejection. Dean Morrison looked pointedly at Sarah. What criteria were those? Sarah had no choice but to admit the truth. I made assumptions based on Dr. Kozlov's accent and unfamiliarity with his company. I didn't properly research his background. You rejected our primary sponsor and one of the world's leading AI researchers because of his accent. Dean Morrison's voice was dangerously quiet. I didn't realize. Sarah started. You didn't realize because you made prejudiced assumptions instead of evaluating actual qualifications, Dean Morrison finished. 6 months later, Stanford implemented the Kozlov Protocol, comprehensive bias training for all conference organizers, focusing on inclusive academic practices and proper credential evaluation. Dr. Sarah Mitchell was removed from conference organizing duties and required to complete extensive diversity training. She learned to recognize that academic excellence comes from many backgrounds and accents. Dimitri delivered a keynote presentation on overcoming bias in AI development that became one of the most watched academic talks in Stanford's history. His $15 million donation established the Inclusive AI Research Center, dedicated to supporting researchers from underrepresented backgrounds. Most importantly, Stanford created new policies ensuring that conference speaking opportunities are evaluated based on research quality and relevance, not on institutional prestige or speaker background. The symposium's new mission statement reads, "Excellence in AI research recognizes no borders, accents, or assumptions." Kozlov AI Systems continued growing and now employs 890 researchers across 12 countries. Dimitri's neural network innovations are used by 89% of major tech companies and have revolutionized machine learning accessibility. Sometimes the person you exclude from academic discourse is the one advancing the entire field. And sometimes the accent you dismiss speaks the language of innovation better than native speakers. Dr. Mitchell learned too late that in the world of artificial intelligence, human prejudice is the most outdated algorithm of all.